Hey everybody, my name is Jay, and we're talking about Hilde today. If you haven't watched my video titled I Got Every Character in Soul Calibur 6 to S rank and this is how I did it yet, please do so, as I'll be going through this character in the same format that I discussed topics in that video, and I'd rather not make the same disclaimers in each video. Hilde was the last character I got to S rank, and tied for the quickest run I ever had in 8 days. If you've ever seen the other videos I've made, you'll probably expect that I'm not really even going to go into talking about the charge moves all that much either, as she gets insanely powerful with them, but is still fantastic as a neutral character without them. Her block punishes are sometimes weak, but she's one of the best characters at neutral and spacing in the whole roster. So when it comes to block punishments, you don't get anything at -10, 12 you got your AA, 14 you got your 3K, -16 2A plus B, -18 6/6 BB, and 6B plus K. If Hilde has a weakness, block punishment is it for sure. You'll find this is more apparent when dealing with, competent Hilde opponents, who often have to choose between keeping their charge for stronger moves or getting a block punish. When you're starting out, though, I think it's best just to go for the block punishment so you can get a little damage rather than balancing more complicated mechanics at the very beginning. Nothing at I-10, and unfortunately her I-12 AA is both stubby and neutral on hit, meaning fast characters are more inclined to just keep mashing. 3K is your best I-14, which is an amazing poke, but not necessarily stellar as a block punish. You've got a knockdown at I-16 as usual and a launcher at I-18. If you stopped the video here, I'm sure you would think that Hilde is a very weak character. The wall rising game is when things start heating up with Hilde. When it comes to a fast punish like an I-12, unfortunately Hilde's still really weak with wall rising K. The move is relatively fine except for the fact that it once again suffers from being stubby, and you can be punished you can be pushed out before you can get your punish. However, ducking grabs and highs gets you wall rising BA into 6B plus K, which is super ridiculous damage and Oki. If you wanted to use this as a pressure type of move without, even getting a confirmed punish, the hitbox is large enough to where you can definitely do that against incompetent opponents. People can duck the second hit of wall rising BA, but if you start dealing with people who do that, you just go for wall rising BB. So again, minus I-12 punish, not really all that great, but after that the reward just gets really huge. So when it comes to Oki, Hilde's Oki is dumb as hell. The character has plenty of knockdowns that plop the opponent right next to her. And for these Oki situations, the options could not be simpler. What do you want? You want a strong mid? 6B plus K. You want a roll catcher? 6B plus K. You want something that's going to beat mashing? Yeah, you guessed it, 6B plus K. This move is bonkers with a capital B. Tons of damage, great guard damage, safe on block, you get $20 every time you hit with it. This move has everything. If you want a low, for when the opponent finally realizes that they have to respect this or they die, then you've got 1A, you've got the 1K string, you've potentially full crouch 3K if you don't mind playing a little bit more risky. For Oki situations where the opponent can tech back and get away, you have great ways of challenging there too, with things like 6B plus K, which goes into 2B plus K, to catch mashing, or you have like C5A to catch immediate sidesteps. C5A or really any like C number kind of thing is going to be talking about her charge moves, meaning you just hold down the horizontal button for about 2 seconds, then you release without any sort of directional input. This will basically be the only charge move I'm going to recommend at the beginning, and one of the only moves I used when I played the character charge-wise. C5A and C6A will be talked about a little bit later, but the sheer coverage the move provides you will boggle your mind. So grabs are about as unimportant for Hilde as they can be for any character in FC6. Still important, but far less than other characters. Both of them are techable knockdowns, as you can see, nor do either of them do anything special, so you don't get much Oki out of them. If the opponent doesn't tech, at least you can do the typical mid-low mix. The only other thing that I'll mention is her quarter circle back command grab, which combos into CE, is a nice round finisher. Honestly, I found going for mix or pressure better for Hilde when the opponent is just stand blocking than going for grabs. Now, from what I understand, the grabs get a lot stronger when you get used to using the charge moves, but hey, no need to get too complicated at the very beginning. The reason why Hilde is one of my fastest S-rank runs out of the roster is because her overall game plan, even without charge move, is simply first class when it comes to frames, damage, and mix. The main goal overall should be to utilize her fantastic backdash to create whiff punish opportunities. A traditional backstep into 3B works great. Now as time goes on, you'll learn more about which charge moves to use in these scenarios, but best just to use a normal launcher for now so you can get used for the timing and spacing. You've also got 6SBB, you've got 6SB plus K, and you've got 2B plus K, which goes into 66BB, I screwed it up, 66BB, 6B plus K, just like all the other ones, for longer vertical pressure. For closer up pokes, you're still not in a bad way at all. 3K is the possible second or third best 3K on the roster, and it's just overall great for annoying players with non-committal pressure. If and when you have your opponent blocking when you're up close, you got the 1K string, which is one of the best lows in the game in my opinion, that goes from 1KK to 1KB. This string, short of Hori properties, has everything you would want. A safe, unseeable low that can go into unseeable pressure, where half of it is still safe, meaning 1KK is still safe. Man, it's one of the best ways to end a round on Oki, hands down. 1A does wonders, 6B plus K continues to do so well for being great pressure. Man, it's fantastic. Now obviously most of what I've talked about is still vertical. So what to do when the opponent constantly sidesteps? Backing up for pressure later on is fine. You still have 1A. 3A provides even more opportunities for solid pressure, and it has a nice tech crouch, but eventually you'll want something to really hit them hard for mashing step. That's finally when C5A and C6A come into play. It's kind of funny, when I was playing a chargeless version of this character to get her to S rank, eventually I ran into people who were mashing all the time, and I legitimately thought Hilde might have difficulty with step duck, only to remember that her whole unique mechanic provides her the best mid-Hori in the whole game. This is when you start getting used to charge moves, and I would recommend not to do it beforehand. It's always important to start at the fundamentals of the character first, and get used to the timings and spacing she wants to be at, then you can incorporate more mechanics and knowledge checks. It's just best to be fundamentally strong and character knowledge weak than the other way around. All in all, it's hard to go wrong with this character. You'll definitely feel frustrations with her block punishment, her sidestep's pretty bad, and her meter usage is pretty mediocre. But in every fundamental aspect, she is top-notch, and you can watch players crumble to the simplest of buttons, if only because there is no weakness for them to lean on. Hilde forces her opponents to respect her at all levels of gameplay, and I guarantee that you're going to find it rewarding. So do the regular YouTube things, like and subscribe, let me know how the Hilde adventure goes, and I'll see you guys for the next video, yeah? Thanks very much.